Welcome back to another episode of Banditland Boulevard. Post game of we're already in week 14, or we just wrapped up week 14. The Buffalo Bandits lose to the worst of the worst in the National Lacrosse League. 13 to 12 was the final score. Ugliness, disgusting, putrid, trash. That's all I got to say, Tony. What about you? How you doing after the late night shenanigans?
Well, you know what? Maybe going to sleep early was a good thing. Maybe you didn't want to see the rest of the game turn out. But again, like you said, it's a turn for the worse. We cannot be losing to these games, especially now. But how the goaltending was, how the team played in the first half, I don't know what to say. But late comebacks have got to be meant for a reason. But you're coming up short. It's not going to win you the games. All I can say is you guys got to move forward from here. You have what is it, 7 games left in the regular season?
Yep, yep.
So got to make it count now. No excuses, no BS, no nothing. You got to win them all. That's pure and simple.
I want to
You
give a
win them all, you may have a shot at getting up in maybe third place.
yep.
Other than that, I don't see them making it to the playoffs this year.
Does the loss affect our playoff standings? Yes, it does.
It
100%.
does.
Should be a wake-up call to the team, but I've been saying that since the
Week 4.
yeah, been talking about wake-up call games for a while this year, and nothing really has been seeming to stick for a while, at least for this year. But big shout out to Tony Fela and those guys over there at 290 Slide Sports Bar and Grill. That was a great time despite the loss. Um,
Mhm.
we all watched that in 4K. The Bandits losing to the 2-8 Vancouver Warriors. Watched that in 4K. This is the time to screw it on straight. I mean, this is ridiculous. We mentioned in the pregame no penalties. They took
Yep.
7 minor penalties, including a two-man advantage right out of the gate with, I
Sure.
believe it was Belter and Nick Weiss that took a penalty there. Um,
Yeah.
can't have it. You literally
No.
can't have it. I think if you want to talk about a bright spot of the game, look at Josh Byrne with 5 goals.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 face-off wins. Who would have thought?
Yep.
We mention all the time on this show that face-offs are huge, which they are. This game, this 13 to 12 loss against Vancouver, the 2-8 Warriors coming off a 5-game losing streak, this was
Yep.
not on the face-offs whatsoever. It was
Mm-mm.
about execution, and it was about goaltending as well. I mean, the offense and the goaltending, the defense can only do so much. And the defense,
That's true.
I think, was a complete team loss. The defense was taking penalties. Defense in transition was taking penalties.
Yeah.
Offense could not find the back of the net until the fourth quarter, it seemed like. Sure, they jumped off to a 1-0 lead, but it was no man's land since. And
Yep.
it was too little too late at the end. And the dodgy goaltending. I know that we're missing Matt Vince, and I know that, you know, Steve Orleman really doesn't have that many reps with the team, nor does
Mhm.
Devlin Shanahan. But
Right.
Shanahan was lights out, essentially, against a top tier team like Albany, and looked like he was playing dodgeball against the 2-8 Warriors. I mean, it could be because of lack of experience, but we couldn't have that on Friday. I had problems with the team transition wise. We couldn't get on and off the floor as fast as we usually do.
Sure.
Stupid shots on offense. Dane Smith, you got 5 assists, but dude, you need to find the back of the net. Chase Fraser has been AWOL the past 2 games. He scored one early one in the Albany game and maybe scored another one against Vancouver, but I
Did.
mean, we're used to seeing Chase Fraser this year under his contract year scoring 3, 4, 5 goals a game. And
Mhm.
when we desperately need your top guys, they're just not showing up. They're taking dumb shots. We're rushing shots on the penalty kill, especially when we should be killing off the penalties. We're
Right.
taking shots with 26 seconds to go from the outside on the shot clock, just turning the ball right back over. We're not giving the defense enough time to recover. We're not giving the transitions enough time to recover. They're running back and forth for their life. And
Sure.
we said this before the Albany game. We said if Matt Vince isn't playing, you damn well better stay out of the penalty box to support your backup. The Bandits are taking more penalties over the last 2 games with Matt Vince out than I've ever seen before this year. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, I had problems with the offense, transition, defense, and goaltending. It's an all-around team loss, and the team is treading backwards. They were 15 minutes away from being 6-3. Now they're looking up at the lights at 5-6.
Yeah.
And by the grace of God, the Riptide and the Panther City Lacrosse Club got swept over the weekend. So you have that 7th spot right now. But it really doesn't feel like this is a playoff team right now, Tony.
No, it doesn't, because the way how they've been playing for the last few games, they've been chickens with their heads cut off. They don't know what the heck's going on, or basically they do, but they just can't seem to connect or have that chemistry like they used to, or something's floating in the water that they just don't like. And obviously they got to realize that they have to get back to basics again. They have to stop overthinking, let's just say overthinking, about the facts that these last few have been either by nail biting 1 goals or whatever 3-goal losses, but just the word loss
Yep.
is a huge factor for this team, and they need to wake the hell up from a bad dream. And this right now, we're still in that bad dream. We have not gotten out of this funk. We have not waken up from it, and we have to do something to change it. So either Johnny T and the coaching staff need to really smarten up and really get these guys back on track, or otherwise we're going to see a downfall spiral that we're going to just get flushed down a toilet, and we're never going to see playoff contention this year. And they got to wake up. Everybody, every aspect of the team needs to wake up.
And it's something like the thing that they were doing everything right in the beginning of the year, especially against the San Diego game, which was a complete
Yep.
game, the
Yep.
Colorado game, which was a complete game. What they
Yep.
were doing was they weren't getting inside their own head. And
Right.
now, I mean, we're trying to kill off penalty minutes, and we're taking stupid outside shots from the restraining
Mm-hmm.
line with 27 seconds left to go on the shot clock.
Sure.
Sometimes the offense is picking their shots with less than 5 seconds to go on the shot clock. We're making dumb passes that nobody can catch, and they're landing in the seats. There were a couple times where we would have breakaways, either shoot right at the goalie's chest, or we miss the net completely. And that's not even
Yeah.
just breakaways. We're taking shots where the goalie doesn't even have to move half the time. And we're also not playing a 60-minute game. It's
No.
usually the third quarter that gives the Bandits headaches, but this time, the second quarter, we got outscored. Oh, what was it? I mean, we were getting absolutely manhandled 5-2 in the second quarter. And
Yeah.
then we scored 4 in the third, 3 in the fourth. And I know a lot of people are going to blame the referees at the end of the game. It shouldn't have even gotten to that point when it was 13-12 Vancouver. And I don't even remember who shot it. Somebody, maybe it was Josh Byrne, looking for the sock trick there. But he took a shot, and the goalie kicked the net off, and he basically landed inside of where the net would have been. And you could see the ball hit his jersey, but you could never see the ball fully cross the goal line. So the referees called it inconclusive evidence, and the game wasn't tied. Anyone who's blaming the referees for that, and there were a lot of people at the bar that were saying, oh, these refs. And we were saying the whole time, like, no, it should have never gone to a tying goal with 25 seconds to go against a 2-8 team.
Correct.
Take that garbage somewhere else. We're not going to blame the referees for a loss to a 2-8 team. We already took 7 dumb penalties to begin with. One of them being just after the whistle stuff with Belter, and it's just I don't know. We get in our own heads, and the thing that really bothers me, 6-3, you were 15 minutes away against Halifax on the first Marvel night from doubling your wins and losses. Since then, we've lost 3 in a row. That loss against Halifax has casted a dark cloud over what the season could have been. And I knew it too. When you blow an 8-2 lead, and I hear all the friggin' time that this is a game of runs, but blowing an 8-2 lead casted a dark shadow over this season. And we looked unmotivated against Albany, and we got bullied and pushed around in Vancouver, who, by the way, in case I haven't said it the first 5,000 times in the show, we're 2-8 and on a 5-game losing streak going into this game.
Yeah, which is unbelievable for another team. Like I said, you can't take any team too lightly these days. They can have no wins and they can still find a way to like compete with you and beat you up and whatever. But if you guys allow that to happen, then this is the thing that I don't see where the excitement is anymore. It's like you're giving these games up for a reason. I don't know. I don't want to say it like that, and people might disagree with what I had to say, but you know what? Where's the fire? Where's the explosion and the excitement that you guys have brought to the game? All these other teams seem to found a way to do that to you. You've got to maintain the reasons why you are a champions of the National Lacrosse League. You have to bring that same intensity, that same aggression, and the same firepower back to them because they're all coming for the title, which we have. So hence the fact, no matter what it looks like to you guys, is that if any team, regardless if they're last place to first place, every team's coming for you. And yes, Kyle Buchanan said it on his interview after the game, says, we have a big target on our back. We know this. We have to set an example. You better start doing it now because you got 7 games left and you're looking like you're about to say, hey, it's nice to see playoffs again from the outside.
Yep.
You can't let that happen. You got to wake up. You got to start playing Bandits lacrosse. You got to get inside their heads. Stop worrying about going into the box. Start playing as one and work every single play. I don't care if it's meaningless if you're up by, like you said, with being 8-2.
Yep.
And you guys said, okay, we're done. We don't have to do no more.
The game was not wrapped up. Game was not wrapped up.
Over. Play till the final whistle. That's basically it.
And that's like fundamentals. That's what they teach you growing up. Always sprint through the finish line. Down the home stretch, you need to sprint through it. You can't
it's
just coast.
Sad to see it.
And it's,
you know, it's really sad.
I can't, like, you also need your top guys to just not vanish. Other than Josh Byrne, which one of your top guys performed? Tehoka had a nice goal.
We did.
Chase Fraser scored 1 goal. He has 3 goals his last 2 games. Dane Smith has 1 goal in his last 2 games. He has the same amount of goals in his last 2 games as Doug Jamieson from Albany. Yep. It's where did they go? Like, you have your secondary guys that are trying to contribute. Kyle Buchanan.
Yep. You know, he had 2.
Chris Kluche scoring 1.
He had 2.
Chris got 2. Dane Smith has 1.
Yep.
Fraser on the power play in the third quarter.
Just his only goal.
And that's the only thing he had.
Yep.
Where are your Nick Weises on the score sheet? Where's your Ian McKays? Where's more of your Tehokas? Where are your Steve Priolos more often? Like,
wow.
We can't have your guys just that have scored in the past. We can't just have them go AWOL. We can't just have them vanish either. And the defense can only do so much, but when they're struggling, they're taking penalties nonstop. And on top of that, when you have Matt Vince on the shelf for God knows how long, you got to set a good example with your defense to protect your goalie. And how good is it when you go to the box 7 times against the worst team? They're gonna mouth off. They're gonna get you to try to take a dumb penalty and bait you, and that's the reason why Vancouver went 3 of 7 on the power play.
Yep.
Think of it this way. If they took maybe 4 penalties instead of 7, that takes off 1 or 2 power play goals. You might be coming out of this game through the skin of your own teeth with a 12-11 win.
Right. And especially, like you said, they won 3 and 7, and all which was in the first quarter too, by the way.
Yep.
All their 3 power play goals were in that quarter.
This is a Vancouver team that scored 5 last week, Tony. They came in against Buffalo, the reigning champs, and scored not only doubled,
13.
They doubled and then some with 13 goals.
Yep.
I don't know what this team's got to do, but I think Johnny T knows that nobody is light. Nobody's lightweight anymore.
No.
The Bandits are now under 500, over halfway through the season for the first time since, I don't even remember, maybe 2017, 2018?
Possible.
I mean, this is new for the guys that have been here since 17. Like, Josh Byrne has never been in this position with the Bandits. Matt Vince has never been in this position. Buchanan, Dane Smith. Dane Smith's been here a long time. Maybe he's seen some difficult seasons, but I mean this is definitely one that Ian McKay is definitely not used to. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for all the guys that don't think faceoffs are important, you're gonna like this episode because we're not gonna blame the faceoffs. We won 10. Do you believe in
Yeah.
miracles? This team with no Fogo at the time won 10 faceoffs. That is not the
Yeah.
reason. Faceoffs is not the reason why you didn't win this game. Dumb shots from
Right.
the outside, penalties, poor execution, aiming for the goalie's chest every single time. All around, all team loss. I mean, I don't know what else we're supposed to say on that. 5-6, you got to recover, and you got to recover quick because you got Sask coming up for
Yeah.
um for Guardians of the Galaxy night on Friday at 7:30. They're not a very good team on paper, but I would just say for the Bandits, for your preparation, throw the records out the window.
Yep.
I don't care how many games Saskatchewan has won or lost. You guys should just treat this like in any other game. You should treat this like treat this like a playoff game. We can't lose because that's essentially what it is. If you lose to Saskatchewan, you have the chance of falling into like 10th or 11th in the league. So
Yep.
we thought the season was going to be over after the Vancouver game. We actually gained a little bit of ground because by the grace of God, other teams that were battling us and had the tiebreaker over us lost 2 games over the weekend, like Panther City and the New York Riptide. So the
Hmm.
fact that we're talking about this and we gained a spot, I almost wanted the Bandits to go into next week or this week in the 9 seed. Give them something to play for. Give them more motivation to go into the rush game. I don't know. The 7 seed could be a huge curse for the Bandits. The fact that they moved up a spot because last week they were tied for 8th with Calgary. Now they're in 7th, despite losing to the worst team. I don't want the Bandits to get a false sense of security. Hey, look, we lost, but we moved up a spot. We don't have to change anything. You got to change
Right.
some stuff.
Yeah. Well, first thing they got to do is just like you said. I mean, I agree with the whole playoff scenario. Like you said, they gained a spot and they still like have that kind of like feeling in the back of their mind, like we're all right, we're fine.
Mm-mm.
No, you
You don't
can't
have
say that
anything.
to yourself.
You don't have
Okay,
anything.
just let's come back to realization here. Let's come back to the point that you're 5-6, which technically speaking, you should really be 8-3. Honest to God, you
You
should
should
really be 8-3. That would be
at
a
least seven
respectful
and four.
record,
At
or
least
seven
seven
and
and
four.
four.
I'll
Yep.
take that too. But honestly, guys, you should not even be talking.
Mm-mm.
You want to prove something to us? Go out and play the game. That's
Show
what you
your
got
show
to
your
do.
toughness in practice too.
Exactly. So here's what you do. And then, yes, I understand the injuries again. And everyone's going to say, well, Matt Spanger didn't play, or Baumberry's still hurt, or Sweeting's hurt, or this guy's hurt. We understand.
Everybody has injuries, and we had injuries
We've
all of last
all
year.
gone through that before.
Yep.
Depth. That's why we have the depth that we have. But again, now we got a little bit of concerning about the guys who are filling in for them. I'm not saying anything bad about Frank Brown or Zach Belter or the guys who are stepping up on defense, but it's now your turn to fill the shoes to play as Bandits defense would. And Steve Priolo's still there. Listen to him. He knows what to do. Just follow his lead. He will guide you. And then once you guys all work as one, instead of like thinking like, oh, I got to do just my part here and that's it. No, you work as a unit. And let me tell you something, the defense will not change of how bad it could be. It will get better and it will get stronger because you have confidence in yourself. You will play as a great team and a great unit if you just rely on each other. If you do that, and listen, Clamp, I want everybody with duct tape on their mouths. Don't talk back to nothing because
Yep.
that's what's getting you in trouble. Yes, it's okay to defend your guys. Yes, it's okay to defend your goaltender, but stay out of the damn box, would you? Jesus.
And we can't afford these 2-man advantage stuff anymore. I mean, we had a 1-0 lead going away. We had a bunch more opportunities to cash in and go up 2-0, and then we take a stupid 2-minute 2-man advantage. I mean, we can't have that. And you
No,
can say whatever you want about the referees. They were fine on Friday. And
first time in a
it
long time.
it shouldn't have come down to a tying goal with 25 seconds to go against a 2-8
Not
team.
against not against a team like Vancouver. I'm sorry,
Against Toronto,
no
I'd
offense
be
to the Warriors, but yeah.
yeah. If this was against like Toronto or Albany, yeah, I'd be pissed off at the referees after this game.
Yeah.
Especially because I mean, the goalie kicked the net off the moorings. I mean, that's ridiculous. It should have been a penalty to begin with, but it should have never
Right.
gotten to that point. Should have never
Nope.
gotten down to that point. But I really liked that a lot of the Bandits have been staying off of like posting stuff on their Instagram stories. I think that shows
Good.
toughness. And one of
Good.
the things that I love is that Chase Fraser, with his Loading Lacrosse sponsor, he told everyone, and he's done this because his passing and his shooting has been inaccurate the past 2 weeks. He found a brick wall outside of where he lives, and he's just playing wall ball. Sometimes
That's
that's
it.
all you need. You just need to retouch on some of your stuff, and you're going to find your groove again. Chase
Yeah.
Fraser's passes have been way off the mark. Go to the Vancouver game, he's just making dumb decisions with the ball. So what does he do? He goes and finds a wall. That's what my old high school coach, and that's what the Buffalo Youth Lacrosse coaches used to tell me back then. If you're ever struggling with your passing game, go outside, find a wall, or go find a buddy to shoot around and pass around with. And
Sure.
that's exactly what Chase is doing. I assume that the rest of the team is doing that as well. But I do have some question marks going into next week against Saskatchewan, because that is a must win. Goaltending. Devlin Shanahan. Oh my God, that was horrible. That was a horrible
Yeah.
outing. And Steve Orleman, when he first came in the net, that was garbage too. But he
Yeah.
had 30 saves on the night on 36 shot attempts, so he definitely made up for it. But
Sure.
Devlin, I mean, what was going on? He was credited with the loss, giving up 7 goals, played less than 20 minutes. I don't know if it was a mental thing, but he looked fine against Albany, and then it hit the fan against Vancouver. So if I'm concerned about one thing, and it's not face-offs, because we got our guy now. We got we got Connor Farrell now. So
Yep.
face-off department, we can't hear anything negative about face-offs anymore. We'll shut up
No.
about it on this show. My number one thing, and we'll get into more of it on the pregame for the next episode, but
Sure.
the goaltending, man, that was an ugly watch.
Yeah, Shanahan obviously definitely knew there was a couple he wanted back, and he even told his defense some of them were on him. He went like this with himself, and he said it was my bad on that goal. I should have had it. And that's the thing too with goaltending nowadays. You got to understand the fact that if it's a straight shot to you, you should be able to stop it. That's basically like in hockey. It's a hockey. If you see the ball coming, you should be able to stop it. That's on you. Now, if you're screened, that's another story.
Yeah.
But again, straight shots should be one-on-one. Let's just say, like, I'll take a quote from my cousin, because basically when we played street ball and just learned, he goes, if you could see it, it's on you then. It's not against your defender. It's not against the guys in front of you, because there's nobody in front of you.
Yep.
If you can see the ball or see the puck or see whatever, and you can make the save, then you're responsible to make that save. So again, Shanahan, this is really his second start, and God knows how many times he's played net for us.
He's had reps here and there,
I
but it's a second start.
It's going to be an up and down roller coaster ride for him. And you'll have your great moments, and then you'll have your crap moments. And yes, after that, not the kind of best goaltending we want to see. And that's why when I saw Orleman go in, I'm like, oh boy, now he's even colder. And it's the fact that, are we going to rely on this guy to be the other guy to go for it? Does he play against Sass against next week? I don't know. See, the thing is that everyone's already rushing about the fact about Matt Vince and his broken finger. That's what I found out. It's a broken finger.
Broken finger.
So, it's based on Vince's health. Guys, listen, we're in a bind. I understand. We're in a situation where we have to rely on our backups. Okay, once again, you got to have faith in this team, and you got to have faith in the goaltending. First, did Devlin Shanahan lose his first game when he played against Albany? Okay, but did he perform well? Yeah, he kept him in there as best he could and kept it to 3.
Yep.
Most goaltenders don't do that. So let's really think about this. Yeah, did Devlin Shanahan have a bad game against Vancouver? I'll agree to you. Yes, he did have a poor game. Did Orleman come in at the wrong time? No. He had to. He had to, because the coach said, go in there, make something of this kid, because you have a little bit more experience than he does. So, which is true. Orleman does have a little bit more experience, but the fact is that, again, we are going to struggle. It might, you know what? If the season keeps going the way with the 1-2 guys that we have now with Shanahan and Orleman, you're going to see them switch on and off. Yeah. So it's going to be a brain fart for a lot of people to figure that out. But honestly, if this confuses the opponents and say, well, he's not
Keeps
really
them on their toes.
Excuse me, if he's not really performing, but the other guy is, but then he starts to struggle. We put the other guy back. You know, it's the first time in a long time that we have to have gone through this. So we have to accept what we have.
Yeah, we do.
Understandably, it sucks, but we have to accept it. And the fact is that whoever's in net against SAS coming this Friday, we don't know who's going to be starter,
I have no clue.
but it's going to, we got to support them, guys, no matter what.
Yep.
It's our team.
That's
Let's
right.
support whoever's in net, okay? Come on.
That's right. And like you said, Tony, in this game, if you see the ball, you had to make the save. Half the time,
Right.
Shanahan didn't even see the ball. I mean, there were times where he just kind of stood there and was like looking in the wrong direction, and the ball was just in the back of the net. I think that's an awareness problem, and I think it's you can coach it out of him. But like, I mean, we were just punching the table at the bar, just like, oh my God, how do you not see that? Like, it was right in front of you. How do you not see whose stick the ball is in, basically?
Sure.
And that was his main problem. But at the same time, a lot of those goals that Shanahan gave up, the Bandits were a man down or two men down. So it's not all on him, but I mean,
nope.
That's why I said all around team loss, and it's unacceptable. I mean, there were a lot of pissed off people at that bar that night, and it was for all the right reasons. Some of them were mad at the referees. Some of them were very intoxicated. I think anyone who's listening to this, I think you know who you are if you're listening to this. I was pissed at the team, plain and simple. Basically. As a fan, I'm like, I don't know what, I don't know what I just watched. That was disgusting. Against Vancouver, I know the 2022 squad, I think with an injured Matt Vince, would have still won by like 7 goals. I think last year's team probably would have been close, but we would have won that game because we showed a lot of adversity. A big problem about this 2024 team, no adversity. None that I've seen so far. And very few complete games out of this roster. San Diego and Colorado are the 2 games, complete games. And maybe the Rochester road game too in the middle of the snowstorm.
Sure.
3 complete games out of 11? That ain't going to cut it, especially when you're the defending champs. Those are the only ones I can think of off the top of my head, but maybe there are others. But the Toronto game certainly was not. We had a good first and fourth quarter of that game.
Yep.
I don't know, but they need to screw it on straight. They got to screw it on fast.
Yep. Otherwise, you're going to see a lot more losses build up on that side, and it's not going to be pretty for the fans of Buffalo.
Nope, and you're going to fall out of the playoff run, but you got Saskatchewan, you got Toronto coming up, and 13-12 loss to Vancouver shouldn't help you in the standings, but in the rarity where both teams that you're going up against in the standings during the 8, 9, 10 spot, the fact that they both got swept over the weekend, New York and Panther City, I mean, it helps you out a little bit, but don't fall into that false sense of security. Well, hey, we're climbing even though we lost. No, you got to win the games on your schedule. But 13-12 loss sucks. But knowing the professionals that they are and who John Tavares is and the fact that they're still mathematically in a playoff spot, they're not going to give up. I know this team's not going to give up, and the fans shouldn't give up either.
That's right. You guys keep the faith in what we do. Keep the faith in what the Bandits will do. Hopefully turn it around, and we'll see more wins this season. But again, it just sucks to lose 3 straight like that. And
it does.
Especially
it's the first time in a long time that I've seen this team lose 3 in a row. That
hurts. Every loss hurts, no matter what you do. Even if you're up, it still hurts. But again, we just got to keep our chins up and keep moving forward and hope for the best for the next game.
And the fan base needs to realize this team is not – it's not going to be the same – like pathway of last year or the year before that, where you're just blowing teams out or getting the wins no matter how many or no matter what way you can get them, whether it's overtime or blowing teams out like last year.
Yeah.
You got to show that, hey, adversity is a strong game. You got to bring it back-to-back years if you want a shot at this, because when your goalie goes down, if that happened to us last year, I don't know if we win the championship. So you got to show more, if not the same amount of adversity as you did last year, if you want at least a shot at the playoffs. I can't even believe that I'm talking about that, about the Bandits taking a legitimate shot at the playoffs. But a 13-12 loss against Vancouver, there's not much more saying about this one. You can't really dwell on it too much because you got a game in 2 nights. So, Tony, hit us with a sponsor.
All right, guys, we'd like to thank Mitchell's Tavern, located at 734 Sheridan Drive up in Tonawanda, New York. Guys, believe me when I say this, they have the amazing service and the best food around. So mention the boys here at Banditland Boulevard, myself, Tony LaMonica, aka Boxhead 98TL, alongside with Trevor the Power Hour. Also, we'd like to thank those who are watching us on YouTube. We'd like to give us that like and subscribe, and also hit that notification bell for every time you hear about Buffalo Bandits Lacrosse. You go to us. We're the ones who are telling you all about the wins, the losses, and the upcomings of the signings, and now we can say about the next episode we'll be saying about a new Fogo guy, so which
Yes,
is also
sir.
cool.
Yes, sir.
Also, we'd like to thank those who are listening in on every device known to man on Spotify.fm and Anchor. Guys, give us that 5-star rating, and to keep us going, talking about your Buffalo Bandits lacrosse team.
Love it. Love it. Got to move on, because you know what? No matter how many games we win, no matter how many games we lose, no matter how many heartbreaking and injuries we have to cover, and trades and all that stuff, we're always here talking about the Bandits, no matter what. So
no matter what.
Yep, just find us here on YouTube and on Spotify. Just keep listening, keep watching. We love doing the show for you.
Sure do.
We got the preview of.
We keep it real.
Yeah, we do keep it real. We tell you what we like, and we tell you what we don't like, and we don't care. But
that's right.
Watch out for the preview late tomorrow night. We got a big, probably the biggest game since Game 3 of the finals last year, if you're talking about a Bandits home game. So
yeah,
it's going to be a good preview episode, so watch out for that tomorrow. And I think, Tony, we got 3 words to leave them off with. What are those 3 words?
Okay. Ready? Let's go Bandits.
Let's go.
Freaking go, guys. Come on. Wake up time.
Keep the faith, and let's go 6-6. Let's do it.
Let's go.